Hear the stories of men and women switching hustles and escaping the odds through entrepreneurship after prison. Not only will these stories inspire you, but also unlock business tips for financial freedom. Let's get it. Thank you all for tuning in to Escaping the Odds podcast. I am your host, Aaron Smith, and today we got a dope episode. We're here with Mr. Larry Roberts. He is the owner of Larry's Barber College. And normally, as you all know, I would have an interview with someone who's been formerly incarcerated, who's now a successful entrepreneur. But this time I'm doing things a little differently. I have someone who's actually helping formerly incarcerated and the current incarcerated to actually build a new skill set of cosmetology. So today we got Larry Roberts, and he's going to break down pretty much what he's been doing in a correctional system here in Chicago, Cook County, juvenile detention center. Man, he's really doing a lot of work for the community. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Aaron, man. I appreciate you having me on your show today. I was incarcerated too, man, for 3 days, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, hey.
But you learned your lesson, though, right?
I learned my lesson. Man, I wasn't supposed to be there, but
right.
You know, nevertheless, I learned the lesson, though.
Okay, definitely, man. So, like I say, man, it's a great honor to really have you on the show. Oftentimes, we don't really hear about the stories of people that's actually helping people like me who actually come home from prison and really want to start over and have a new skill set. And as we know, well, some of us know, inside of prison, you're looking for it. Even if you're in prison, you still want a dope haircut.
Absolutely.
Right? And
absolutely.
I remember being in there every week. I made sure I had a cut. That was like me going to the club.
Well, the thing about it is that a haircut is not just a haircut, so to speak. I mean, when you get a haircut, even though you're locked up in jail, but you feel better.
Yeah.
Even going back up to the deck,
Definitely,
you feel better.
Right.
You know, and with my guys there, I treat them as if it was out on the world. So I make sure that they have good smelling aftershave.
Yeah.
They got powder. If the guys want to get their beards colored, everything that they do out in the world, the only thing that they can't do is use a razor. That's it.
Okay,
so
yeah.
And we're counselors, man. We lawyers. When people sit in our chairs, we're everything to them, man.
Right.
So that's what a barbershop environment do.
Definitely, yeah. So what was one of the reasons, or several reasons, why you decided to actually go inside of the jails and prisons to be able to give the men and women this new skill set?
Well, the thing about it is that, I think people perceive everybody that's locked up in jail as bad people. And I don't agree with that. Having businesses in the hood, Wild Hunnets and, on the 79th Street, I have an opportunity to talk to men and women about some of the challenges. And of course, my ethnicity, I have family and friends and people who, have gone down certain paths. And what I believe is that, people think that everybody that's locked up in jail are bad people, but I don't agree. But we have to take time to find out their stories, to figure out, well, how did you end up here? You'll run into some people who never met their father before, or who had abusive parents, or, who mom might have been on, on drugs, or, it's so many different reasons why people end up, or they might have just, hung around the wrong people and got in trouble one time, and it's a trickle effect.
Definitely.
So I run into people who, they get out of jail, they want to change the dynamics of their life, but nobody will allow them to because they have a criminal background.
Right.
So what do you expect for somebody to do who's saying, hey, man, I'm grown now, I'm mature, I have a family, I want to do something different, but they go to try and get a legitimate job, and you say, man, you got a background, you can't get no job.
Yeah.
So how do you think that they're going to eat? They're going to go back to what they know.
Exactly, yeah.
Period.
Let's go back 28 years, right? When you first started your own career, cosmetology. Like, what was the reason for you getting into that field?
Well, first of all, I started cutting hair at 13, so that was 34 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, I started cutting hair when I was 13, and my parents had this lame brain idea about building a house out in the suburbs, so it wasn't nobody that looked like me.
Definitely
so
not.
So I had to go to Walgreens and get a pair of clippers for $19, and I started. I draw, so I'm an artist. And part of you'll learn in barber books that part of being a barber is an art and a science. So I started cutting my hair, man, and I told people, I say, hey, I charge you $3 to cut your hair. If I mess up, then I'll pay you $3. Well, I never had to end up paying anybody, but nevertheless, that's how it got started. Then at 17, I told my parents, I said, this is what I want to do. So I went to barber school when I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And by the time I was 19, I opened up my first barbershop, man. So that's how I got into the business, of barbering or whatever. So, yeah.
Oftentimes, people think that, I'm going to open up a shop. I'm going to sit back and relax. I don't have to cut hair. I'm going to make money off the booth rent.
That's that's not really the way it go, because
Okay.
9 times out of 10, when I first started cutting, man, I would start at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and I would cut between 25 and 38 heads every day. The most
Wow.
heads I ever cut in one day was 48 heads. So a lot of people who think that all they're going to do is collect the booth rent, I wouldn't advise anybody to open up a shop if you can't maintain a shop by yourself with just your clientele, period.
Yeah.
And also, I wouldn't open up a shop with less than 8 chairs in it, because booth rent can go both ways. It can go up, it can go down. Everybody can't always meet their booth rent. You may not have people filling up those chairs. So
Yeah.
if you're dependent on that, it really don't work like that. I'm sorry, that's not realistic.
Yeah. Wow. So going back into the jails, right? Not only are you got the school inside the jails and the county jails and the prisons, right? But also you're like a court advocate as well.
Okay.
So how did that
I just believe
transition?
I just believe that we can't allow our gift to take us someplace that our character can't handle, right?
Wow, that's deep.
And I feel like you have to go through in order to get to, but how you deal with what you go through determines how you come out. So a lot of people just want to, go from A to Z in this big leap, but it don't work like that. But how are you dealing with, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P?
Right.
How are you dealing with all of that before you get to Z? And a lot of people can't handle that. So you have to help them mature, in between A and Z, which means that you have to help their gift, their character line up to where the gift, like you could be the best barber in the world, right?
Yeah.
But if you're always late,
Yeah.
if you don't know how to stop cursing when people come in, or period, if you don't I think our postures have to align. A lot of people think that what we do, that's not a real job. But that's not true. We are economy proof. And the same people who saying that that's not a real job, they have to get services by us. But it's our posture that determines how people look at us, right? So what do I mean by that? You can't play any kind of music inside of the barbershops and beauty shops. You can't play music that's degrading to women and negative, because you want to solicit and you want to have customers who are political, church people, bishops, pastors, kids, women, daughters, senior citizens. So you have to know how to greet them when they come in the door.
Exactly.
You have to know how to have certain conversation. You can't leave in between every other client to go smoke a blunt with your buddy.
Yeah.
Wait till you get home to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? We are trying to conduct business right now,
Right.
So if they can't grasp all of that, they'll be the best barber in the world, but sitting up in the shop empty by themselves,
Yeah.
waiting for their homies to come in, and they homies late, so they can't even regulate their time.
Exactly.
So I started at 4 a.m, man, and I scheduled every half an hour. And I made sure I did everything I could to stay. Of course, you're not going to always be on point, but, because we're human beings. So if I done cut 20, 25 heads, I'm going to slow down a little bit. But for the most part, I'm still in my place. I would go in the shop before the sun came up and wouldn't leave till after the sun came down.
Wow.
And I invested time in that shop. But a lot of people, they don't want to do that. It's like the microwave day age. I always get a scenario, if you have pizza from the day before, if you pop it in the microwave, the cheese, because you go put it on the paper plate most of the time, the cheese go stick to the plate, the bread go be soggy. If you let it sit too long without eating it, it's gonna get hard. But if you preheat that oven, put it in the oven, it's gonna take longer.
Patience though.
But it's gonna have the same vibe.
Yeah.
Like it did yesterday when you bought it fresh.
Right.
But we want to microwave,
Yeah.
So
So what's the selection process? If I'm in the county jail, well, not me, because I ain't going back. But if someone's in the county jail and they say, hey, they hear about your program, like what's normally the selection process for you?
What I require them to do is, I prefer for them to write me just give me a 1 paragraph summary. Why do you want to be in my program? Because I've been at the jail long enough to know that people, they try and pull one over. They want to come off their deck. The barbershop atmosphere is like,
it's like being free.
The radio is playing. Everything, you get to see everybody else, in the building, so to speak. So people they be on that. But I want you to tell me why. So some of the people that I get, hey, I was cutting hair. I should have went to school. My dad cut hair. I was cutting hair in the kitchen. I always wanted to cut hair, but, I got into mischief, so I didn't have time to go to school. Like, I have different stories, but the ones who,
definitely.
But I want to try and help everybody. I feel like you have that F student, and you have that you have 2 categories of F students, right? You got that F student who they trying hard, but you got the F student who they ain't trying to do nothing, man. So I want to help everybody, but I'd rather help that F student who's really, really trying hard to get to that D minus or to get to that D plus and to keep, going up the ladder, man. So that's how I select the people, who's going to be in the program. So to speak. And then of course there's, jail criteria. I can't go and get, woo-woo who the murdered 10 people, you know what I'm saying, who on, death row and say, come on, be in my program. I would, but that's, I still have to, it's security
follow the code.
First.
Yes, exactly.
Security's first. So I have to follow the guidelines the jail make me do. But I am the first person in history who's ever had a barber school inside of a penal institution with my name on it that I run and operate and that I control. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice. I was with Governor Pritzker right before COVID happened. He did the ribbon cutting with me at the the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice in Warrenville, Illinois, as well as the one in Chicago. And I'm the state first accredited program inside of a state facility. So I was excited about that as well.
Now you told me something that was kind of ironic and interesting at the same time, right? You said that in some cases, the judge or even the detainee will try to stay a little bit longer so they can finish your course.
Yeah, so I've had detainees.
Is that good?
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
because they're looking at it's almost like they're putting themselves back in the oven because they're not done yet. If you want to look at it from that aspect,
right.
It's like, okay, if I got to do 1,500 hours and I got 1,200 hours, I done came this far. Why would y'all send me off somewhere when I can do 300 more hours and get my certification? So that way, man, once I walk out the door of jail, I can go right to work.
Yeah.
But if I don't get my certification, man, I got to try and figure out how I'm gonna even get money to even pay for these other 300 hours. And I might not even return. I might not even go back because I don't have time to do it. I need to start making money to take care of my family.
Right.
And I do it free inside the penal institution. So it costs $15,668 to go to my school on the outside. Inside of every penal institution I'm in, I do it for free.
Okay.
So they don't have to pay a dime. Matter of fact, I probably have to pay more money for getting all of the stuff that the jail don't provide, like spritz, oil sheen, color, jam, different things that they don't supply. I supply that myself because I want them to have the full experience, not just partial experience,
right. And so if I'm inside the system and I'm maybe halfway through the program and I get released, whether through time served or just I beat my case or whatever, and now I'm on the streets here, does that free transition onto the streets, or there's like a prorated kind of a situation?
Absolutely. I'm not letting them go. I'm not letting them go. They be like, Larry, let me get your number. When you get out, you can get my number. You can have whatever you want.
Right.
But you ain't going to be calling me while you up in here worrying me to death. But when you get out, they know what locations to go to, any location they want to go to.
Okay. How many locations is that?
So in the city of Chicago that they can get to in Chicago, you got Joliet, you have Chicago, 79th and Langley, and then you have Chicago, 105th and Halsted. So those are the locations in Chicago. So basically, my administration know what to do. Hey, I'm Joe Smith from Cook County Jail.
Yeah.
And they give them my information. They say, okay, we need your transcript. They hand them the transcript. I completed 1,000 hours, and I let them finish there. Now, if they can get free money through financial aid, I let them apply for that. But I never hold them back if they can't get any of that. It's like, man, come on, finish. So I give them a scholarship because I have a non-for-profit as well as my for-profit. And through my non-for-profit, talking about the gifts and the characters, through my non-for-profit, what I incorporated in my curriculum in my schools is we do mentoring, we do life skills, I do substance abuse, I do mental health, I do bridge housing, I work with the veterans, and I work with the senior citizens.
Wow.
Because I want to make sure that, they don't just get all of this good skill, but all of the other stuff is not in order. You got a lot of people, man, they got a lot of stories. Everything from being molested, everything from, being killers, from, they have to lose that mentality.
Right.
And you can't take somebody, and I understand that, like, if you take somebody and give him a job as a bank president, like, okay, you want me to give him a job? He just got out of jail. I want to show you that he's not going to do what he's supposed to do. So you take somebody fresh out of jail, give him this $200,000 job as a bank president. Yeah. They're not going to know how to handle it because nobody never sat with them and trained them to be able to handle that position.
Yeah.
Which means that they go goof it up. Okay, if drinking and smoking is what you do it at home.
Yeah.
Not in the bathroom.
Yeah.
At the bank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it don't make sense, man. And then when they end up losing their job, it's more reason for people to say, see, we tried to give them a job. We tried to help them. But look what they did. Yeah, but you didn't nourish them and you didn't help them along the way. You just took them straight from here. You took them straight from A to Z.
Right.
And they couldn't handle Z right away.
Right.
That's why I say you have to go through in order to get to. I didn't even understand that, man. You know, I'm 47 now. I thought that I was supposed to be where I am now. I thought I was supposed to be there in my 20s.
No question.
I felt like I could handle it.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is that I wasn't really ready for it.
Right.
Because had God gave me
there you go,
in
man.
my 20s now, what he's showing me that he's releasing for me now, I probably would have lost it and been fighting trying to get it back because of the fact that I didn't know how to handle it back then. You ever seen that movie Blank Check?
Yeah.
With the little white kid who you know, he found a Tone Loc and them, you know, they crew, he found a check and he wrote $1 million on that check, right? Man, that dude was buying tubs of ice cream. He bought a mansion. You know, he did all of this stuff, man. And in 30 days, that $1 million was gone. They had like $300 and some left, man.
You know, a wise man told me, it's funny, I was having this conversation a few weeks with someone, right? Said your gift will get you there, but your character will keep you.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, as you stated, when I was incarcerated, I would think like, man, here I was 28 years old. I'm like, man, I ain't coming home till I'm somewhere near 40, right? And I would meet all these people that could have, I would always say, man, if I would have known you while I was on the streets, I mean, I would have been a legitimate millionaire, right? However, my mindset at the time, I would have squandered it away.
Yep.
I would have squandered my gift. You know what I'm saying? And so God had to sit me down and get me right. You know what I'm saying? Shake all the shadiness up out of me. You know what I mean? And so now, when I get those opportunities, I won't squander those opportunities. Now the gift and my character are tied together. So what I'm saying? So you hit it dead on, man. You hit it dead on, definitely. Which kind of leads me into another question. You've been doing this for 10 years, multiple, probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of students come to your program, right? What are maybe one or two cases where it's like memorable for you, was like, that's a hell of a success story? Can you think of anyone?
Yeah, for people to get out of jail, finish my program inside. So you have people, man, who they change the direction of their life from having an opportunity to be in my program inside the jail.
Right.
Because otherwise, they didn't know what they were going to do when they got out, because they've been in and out the system, right? So once I showed them that, you know, I humbly say who I am, and like, man, this dude, you willing to do this for us? You willing to do this for me? It made them put some trust in some aspects of the system. It made them put some trust in people who are in the position that I'm in, who genuinely want to help them to succeed, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I show myself to be approved. Like, when you get out of jail, man, I got you.
Yeah.
You know, you can have my cell phone
A lot of
number.
people hear that though. We hear that all the time.
What's that?
When you get out, I got you.
But they
you hear
don't
that from
have
your
it.
homeboys,
But
or even people that come to the prison,
And they don't have you.
They don't have
and
you.
they don't have
exactly.
you. And because of the fact that I'm true to who I say I am, it makes them feel like, okay, now I have a chance. You know, if somebody get out, man, and they have no direction, what are they gonna do? They gonna go back to the only thing that they know to do, because they gotta eat, they gotta take care of their kid, they gotta take care of their wife or they husband if it's a female. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, they just want to know somebody care. And then and the reason I incorporated the other things is because I want to be able to hold their hand. If you can't, unfortunately, you have to hold their hand. If you don't hold their hand, they're liable to, man.
And they need some accountability as well.
Absolutely. You got to have somebody stay on it. Hey, man, you doing good? You straight?
Yeah.
You know, we Facebook friends. I see what you're doing.
Right.
And then I have to show, you know, like I tell my daughter, man, my daughter's a celebrity chef. And I told her when she first started getting into it, I was like, make sure your posture on your social media add up to what it needs to add up to, because you have people that's sitting back and they can decide on whether they want to hire you or not just based off of your posture on social media.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I try and be an example the best way I can on social media so that they can see that, hey, you know, I like to have fun. I like to, you know, get down too. But it's certain aspects of your life, even though I'm not doing nothing bad, but it's certain parts of your life that the world don't need to see.
That's true.
Because they'll try and judge your character, but it's not really what's inside of you. You know, you just kind of having a little fun or whatever, but you can't do that, unfortunately.
Exactly, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So what's next for Larry's Barber College?
Man, I'm actually licensed in 22 states with my master license.
Okay.
So I'm being proactive, man. I feel like I need somebody to pour into me. You know what I'm saying? Again, I humbly say
you
that.
pouring into a lot of other people.
Well, but the thing about it is that I don't feel like I've maxed out. But what I do feel like is that, I know so much more than people that's in this industry and people that's been in the industry longer than me because I don't sleep at night because my wheels don't shut off.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to, like, man, I'm doing stuff that's like unheard of. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even with my apps and the way I corporately run my corporation, it's not just a barber school.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want them to know that I can put on a suit and tie and I can sit around that round table and I can talk that talk, but I can wear my low wear. You know what I'm saying, and be sweet as well. So I want people to be able to see both aspects, and I'm not just good with my hands, but I can talk knowledgeably. I can sit down and have a wise conversation with people, man. And a lot of people, again, they look down on us because that's just a barber. Yeah, but you need us. So I tell people, allow that to add up to everything. Even theoretically, man. With this COVID-19 and everything that's going on. I actually had the coronavirus. And with the coronavirus,
you and I both.
Yeah, so there you go. So you know what that felt like, man. The breathing and all, man.
Oh my God!
But this was before it really hit, so
right.
I didn't know what was going on,
exactly,
man. I'm on the basketball,
just something wasn't right though.
I'm on the basketball court. I'm like, man, I know I'm in shape.
Yeah,
so
why am I feeling? Yeah, why? Yeah,
and I couldn't breathe,
right.
But thank God my immune system was healthy enough to pretty much fight. I thought it was the flu, so I started fighting off like it was the flu, man. So needless to say, I quarantined myself for like 3 or 4 months, man. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks. And I just kind of, fell back or whatever. My girl is a nurse, so I was able to, get help from her, from
inside scoops.
Absolutely, yeah. So, but with that being said, man, it's like we teach these things. We teach infections control. We teach sanitation. We teach disinfecting. So, when they talk about social distancing, you can't social distance in a barbershop. I can't cut your hair from 6 feet.
Right.
I can't shampoo your hair from 6 feet.
Yeah.
I can't give you no shave and do your mustache with a mask on.
It's true.
So basically, we have to use other measures to make sure that people are safe. But my point being is that now, because you got people who are illegitimate in these barbershops. Actually, if you don't have a license as a barber or a cosmetologist, you can go to jail, and it can be considered a misdemeanor because it's illegal to not have a license and service people, right? Because of all of the people, we can be responsible for somebody's death sitting in our chair because something can go wrong. We teach about bacteriology, microbiology, electricity and light therapy, HIV, AIDS,
COVID.
You can pass these things to your client if you don't properly disinfect. If you we were taught don't go to work if you coughing or if you sneeze and all of these types of things, right? So it's just a matter of people educating themselves about what's going on and what needs to happen, man. So again, like I said, man, we teach these things. It's very, very important. What we do is very important. Like I said, we was doctors and dentists back in the day. So the red, white, and blue barber pole. The barber pole, the red stand for blood, the blue is for veins, the white is for bandages, and the ball on the bottom is called a basin. That's because we were doctors and dentists up until the 1800s, and that's when they separated the professions. So my license it looks the same as a doctor and a dentist license. So you know how you go in a dentist and they set your seat back? Well, barbershop, set your seat back. They used to do everything in one place.
If I can remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I seen a post maybe on Instagram or Facebook, and you talked about how it takes X amount of hours, basically more hours to be a barber than to get the police training.
It's 846 hours to become a police officer,
right?
But it takes 1,500 hours to become a barber or cosmetologist.
Right.
Go figure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
So okay, you got a young man or woman coming out through your program, and they want to open up their own shop, or maybe even open up their own barber school one day, right? Because you mentioned like how your corporate structure and things of those nature, like how you're really good at far as business as a whole. What would you say to them as it relates to starting their business, all the things they may need to know?
I consult people in and out of town on a weekly basis who, reach out to me. They want to open up barber shops. They want to open up, barber schools and beauty schools and stuff like that. And basically, the first thing I ask them is why. Why do you want to open up a barber shop? Why do you want to open up a barber school? And based on the answer they give me, then that's how I give them an answer as to if they should or if they shouldn't. Okay. And I. What
do you don't want to hear then?
Huh?
What do you don't want to hear?
I don't want to hear them say so I can make a lot of money.
Okay.
Because that's not the way it go.
Okay.
You heard me say about how many hours I put in. Obviously I done cut Judge Mathis. I done cut Mekhi Phifer. I used to cut Judge Mathis for his TV show 2 or 3 days a week. Yeah. Down, for a whole year down at the TV station. You know what I'm saying? I done cut.
So you kept them looking like that.
I kept them looking like that.
Okay.
I cut Gary Sheffield. I done cut You know, I mean, man, I can go on and on about the people who I done cut service in the music industry as well as the, you know, just Hollywood, you name it. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, man, it's just kind of one of them things where if you're not willing to put in the time, you know, and if you're just saying you want to make a lot of money, you have to understand that if all you want to do is make a lot of money, when you're not making all of that money, are you still willing to stand up behind that chair and cut hair? Or sort of like when people come to me who don't even know the business, say, I want to open up a barbershop, man, because it make a lot of money. It's a wrong business for you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have no barbers that show up, or if you can't get anybody to work in your shop, and somebody come in and want to get a service, you can't service them because you don't do the business.
Right.
And you don't understand the business. You don't understand barbering, but you want to open up a barbershop, and when it's 90 degrees outside, you want to open up the door.
Exactly.
You got to turn on the air conditioning because my client is going to be sweating.
Right.
I'm going to be sweating.
Sweat them perms out too.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're trying to save on the electricity bill, but because you haven't had to stand behind this chair, you don't understand that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
No, definitely. Yeah.
So I just feel like you shouldn't get into business if you really don't know it, or if you don't have enough money to make sure you put somebody in place who do know it. Because what end up happening is that then you have your operators who start taking for granted that man, they need us. Right. So they go do what we say do, because otherwise we all go click up or we go walk out of that shop. Yeah. So, you know, I advise them not to open up a barbershop or beauty shop if all they want to do is just make money. I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay, generally speaking, not just even on just hospitality or barbering, what would you say to that young man or woman who's inside and they trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, a new skill set, any kind of words of wisdom as we close out?
Well, what I would say is that, you know, barbering and hairstyling is not for everybody. You know, it's not for everybody. And I don't try and force anybody into that direction if that's not truly in their heart for what they want to do or even want to try. You know, if you ain't never touched a pair of clippers or anything before in your life, it's okay. But I would just say, you know, just seek God, number one. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Relationship with God. Seek God about the direction that you should go in. You should do what you really love. Man, in jail, I have seen the most, I ain't saying some of, but the most creative people ever.
Tell me about it.
I mean, I done seen brushes be made out of a old deodorant bottle that they took their toothbrushes and melted all their old toothbrushes on there, and they got a brush out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I done seen the mirror made out of potato chip bag. Yeah. I done seen them make little, man, dude.
or just cutting your hair just with a razor.
Man, period.
I mean, a fade with a razor.
Period. I done seen it all, man. And I'm like, take that and put it to good use. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're so creative, man. You know, I mean, all walks of life, basically, man. Right. But we're so creative, and I would say follow your dreams, follow the passion you have, because if you love it, you won't let it go. But if you don't love it, it'll be easy for you to let go. Okay. So where can they find you, man? If they want to reach out to you, Barber College or just consultation or whatever. I'm all over social media, but my website is larrysbarbercollege.com. That's my for-profit. My non-for-profit is datafoundationinc.org. And I'm all over social media, Larry Roberts Jr. You know, they can find me. I play drums and keyboards professionally as well. So, you know, I'm over the screens, you know, doing that, man. So they can find me. Okay. Yep. Cool. Well, man, brother, thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for having me. And on behalf of all the brothers and sisters who were incarcerated or now currently incarcerated, really thank you for providing a new skill set and that sense of confidence for someone to come out and know that they have something they can make a livable wage with. And that's it. Yes, Escaping the Odds podcast. It can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, pretty much anywhere where you can listen to a podcast. The YouTube channel is coming soon, Escaping the Odds. EscapingTheOdds.com is coming as well. Merchandise. We're about to blow this thing up. Thank you all for tuning in. Mr. Larry Roberts, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate your efforts and everything. Thank you, man. Peace out, y'all. Take care. Don't forget to follow